Hey everybody, Marty Sleva here alongside Dan Stapleton.
That's me.
It is you. We're here playing Dark Souls 2 on the PC. You like PCs?
I do.
Yeah, so we got a build in the office, and so if you didn't know, I reviewed Dark Souls 2 when it came out last month on PS3 and 360. I enjoyed it quite a bit, gave it a 9. I thought the visuals were really good. Some areas look better than the other, but holy moly, the PC version looks really good.
And here's a secret. What you're looking at right now is the worst the PC version can look.
So this is the low res. We'll show you just how it looks right now. Everything's on low, medium, off. So you're seeing it right now. It looks better than it does on console. It runs better than it does on console. But
go look at the water.
We're gonna go look at the water. So stuff's gonna look different though. We're gonna hop out and then we're gonna come back and show you what it looks like in high settings.
Yeah,
everything's gonna be super high.
We're gonna max this out.
We're gonna max this baby out. All right, we're back, and this is what the game looks like on the highest settings. So we maxed everything out, and look at that water.
It's prettier water.
That water. Look at them particles. There's like flame embers.
It is a pretty dramatic difference.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. There's a lot of people up in arms when the game originally launched that it didn't look like sort of the vertical slice that they showed us when we revealed it last year. But then seeing this really sort of bridges the gap between how it looks on. I mean, you just look at the lighting, you look at the shadows. God, look at the textures on the rocks and everything. Yeah, this is an incredible looking game on PC.
Now, like if you remember, like the original Dark Souls when it came out on PC was kind of a disaster. It was the port was a mess.
The port was a mess. Fans had to go in there and actually like add settings and just put even basic PC stuff into it.
Yeah, like the resolution was locked at 720, and it was just blowing up the screen size to whatever resolution you set it to.
But no more.
Yeah.
So now we have key bindings.
We have key bindings. We have resolution settings.
Yeah.
Like being able to customize the controls. Like for one thing, you probably should still play this game on a gamepad. It's just not built for mouse and keyboard.
You can play mouse and keyboard, but as someone, I put some time into mouse and keyboard, and as someone who's spent, about 60, 80 hours into the console version of this game, I can absolutely not imagine playing on a keyboard and mouse. So
go into the video settings though.
We're gonna go into the video. So this is where all the magic happens.
Yep. So like this actually, like for one thing, they actually have video settings now. How about that? Who would have thought?
All it took was one awful port in order to make a good one.
Yeah, so they've actually got some good settings in here to adjust with. I mean, we are running on a pretty high-end machine right now. This is a high-end Core i5. I think it's a 4560 or something like that. It's a pretty nice Core i5 and a $500 graphics card, which it's the NVIDIA GeForce 780.
All right, so we're able to max everything out, and obviously the game still runs super smooth.
Well, you probably don't need that kind of hardware to make this game look as nice as it does here. We haven't run it on a whole bunch of lower end machines yet, but I think it's safe to say it's not going to require that much hardware.
For sure. So what are some of these things? We have anti-aliasing.
Anti-aliasing like smooths out a bunch of jaggies. Like if you in an image editor like Photoshop, if you scale something down, you know how the lines blur a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what it does to the picture, so you don't see a bunch of like pixely diagonal lines.
Gotcha. Got some motion blurs.
Yep, that's
camera motion blur.
Motion blur is nice sometimes, but when it's overdone, it's really nice to be able to just turn that off.
Yeah, it's nice to give you the option.
Yeah.
This one looks like a hospital term.
Anisotropic filtering is a effect it puts on a texture as it kind of goes off into the distance at an angle to make it look a little bit sharper and more distinguishable. Screen space ambient occlusion is a fancy lighting effect.
Okay, very cool. Depth of field, obviously water surface quality, character rendering, model quality.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just with all these settings, and if you have a pretty beefed up rig at home, I mean, just look at how far your shadow goes. Your shadow's all the way over there.
And let's I'm gonna use the mouse and take control away from you. Let's look at the detail on the character. It's just so much nicer.
Yeah, you look at everything. It really, the texture work. It really, it highlights what FromSoft did with the concept art for this game to really create a rad fantasy world.
And you can actually make out the links in his armor. It's much better. And like a lot of people will make a big deal out of the difference between 900p or 1080p when you're talking about Xbox One or whatever. But for me, the real difference in graphical quality tends to be in the texture quality. Yeah,
people tend to get a little preoccupied with their P's.
That does make a difference. Don't get me wrong. Like, this game is going to look even better if you're playing it at 2560 by 1600 on a super high end machine.
And It's funny too, as someone who, one of my beefs with the game on console was that you have to.
Look at those fancy lights, Marty.
Look at those fancy lights. Good. So you had to go back to Majula every time you wanted to level up your character. You had to go talk to the Guardian by the bonfire. You still have to do that now, but the load time was much faster there. I mean, the game loaded in about 4 seconds or so, as opposed to probably 10, 15, 20 seconds on console, which isn't.
And we should point out that this machine that we're running on, for all that fancy stuff we were talking about earlier, it does not have an SSD. If you have an SSD, it's going to load even faster. Yeah. Yep.
Dan, do you think I'm going to be able to win this fight?
I don't know. This guy looks pretty dumb.
I know. Well, okay, none of this is working well. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the big thing is they've already said it's going to be, content similar. I mean,
similar?
Yeah, or content, you know what I mean. It's going to be the exact same on PC as it was on 360, but as someone who put a ton... Oh, I just died. Womp womp. As someone who put a ton of time into the... 360 and PS3 versions, seeing it look like this. Virgins.
You put time into the virgins.
I put time into the PS3 and 360 versions. As someone who's putting a lot of time into both of those SKUs, just seeing how gorgeous the game looks on PC makes me want to go through it again and see those amazing, late game areas and bosses and encounters in beautiful, fancy. Look at that! Look at that tower! I just want all that.
I love the rays from the light. That's your
coming
your
off your
lighting.
character.
Yeah, you can actually see him blocking the light.
Yeah,
that's
fancy. FromSoft, winner Dark Souls, as some would say.
Yes.
So yeah, this is just a quick glimpse at the PC version of Dark Souls 2. We're gonna have. I do say virgin now. You really put that into my head. You worried me.
Well, you are a PC virgin. So.
we have a lot more content on the site, including it should be up now a graphics comparison between the console versions and the PC version. And I'll also be taking a full look at the PC version and really updating my review.
Look at the texture effects on those walls. That's actually really impressive. They've got all kinds of bump mapping going on there.
It looks real good. Yeah, and so I'm going to have a lot more thorough thoughts closer to the game's release at the end of the month.
You're a good man, Marty.
I am a good man.
And thorough.
And a good man. And so thorough. So for everything else Dark Souls 2 leading up to its release on PC later in April, you know where to keep it. IGN.